Welcome back to my chronicled adventures of the Disney College program. This is part 4, and I will be talking about crossing the country. So, let's get started. I did a whole solo road trip in my little stick shift across the country. Well, halfway across the country, if you can, from Kansas to California. I didn't anticipate this happening. I thought my family was going to move with me, which is I have no problem that they didn't come. But that's kind of what I thought was going to happen, and I was supposed to leave on January 1st. Yeah, and the program started on January 12th. And the reason why I decided to leave so early is because I have not traveled long distances in a manual car, and also it didn't have cruise control. So I anticipated stopping in a lot of states because I didn't want to drive more than 6 hours in a day because I didn't want to get fatigued and I didn't want to hate my life while I was driving. So that was my plan. And I have the whole series recorded in my Mac logs. But when the time came for me to leave, it was really weird. And here's what was happening on the personal front. I had left college and I went back to my hometown, and I didn't really have any friends. I had one. So I felt very kind of isolated and weird and just unattached to things. And so as the summer had progressed, I had found friends and I had relationships with them, and I found a sense of belonging. I felt like I was home, and I love my family, just to let you know. They were a great help to me through that process. I had gotten to a point where I liked my life, and now it was going to be uprooted again, and I had no friends in California, and it was just kind of great, I'm going towards my dream. Yay! So the time came for me to leave. I packed up my things and I started crossing the country, and it was very torn because I really wanted this, but at the same time, I didn't want to leave all the treasure that I had found behind me at home. So I continued. And here's another interesting thing. I've never been afraid while I was going somewhere. I'm a very independent person, and I try to be self-sufficient, and I just kind of do life, But while I was driving, I just had these fears, and I would worry about things like, oh no, what if I get a flat tire? And I've changed so many tires. Literally. I have changed probably 5 tires in my life. I've changed my friends' tires. So I know how to change a tire, but I was just deadly afraid that I would blow a tire and I would have to fix it by myself without anyone in the middle of the highways of Utah. And there were other things, I would be afraid that my car would just spontaneously quit on me, or something would just stop and there wouldn't be anyone around. And the other thing about driving through America is that in the long stretches there's not any signal, and so I was like,
what if I'm somewhere where there's no signal and I just and I'm there and
what'll happen?
But I continued on, and by day 3, pretty much all of my fears had abated. I don't know what was happening there. I was just afraid of so many things, and my mind would just come up with all these scenarios. Somehow I got through that. Don't actually know. I just woke up one morning and I felt more confident. So I guess that's something that's important if you're ever driving a long way by yourself. Sometimes you'll get attacked with fear, and you just gotta live through it and try not to listen to yourself. Next, we will get into my arrival process and talk a little bit more about that. Thanks for tuning in.